computer. All right, voila. Hello, and good morning, world. And thank you, guys, for stopping back with us yet again for another weekend of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Yes, y'all, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left some, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back, and for the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so we thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topic that has taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Instagram at the Early Morning Sports Talk pod, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and now Rod Tidwell. Today is January 14th of 2023. We have seen yet again another fascinating week in the sports world, where we saw Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, after suffering a life-altering moment last week, not only be released from the University of Cincinnati Hospital, but make it back to Buffalo to go through the hospital there, be released, and is now back at home resting. That is very good news, right, y'all, to hear. On the other hand, the NFL season has now come to a conclusion, and various head coaches have been fired, such as Lovie Smith, Cliff Kingsbury, as well as a few interim head coaching positions that are now available with teams such as the Denver Broncos, the Carolina Panthers, and infamously the Indianapolis Colts, in which both of you guys are located in Indiana. Additionally, we saw a national atrocity occur, y'all, during the national championship game between the TCU Corn Dogs and the Georgia Bulldogs, because the way the game looked as if the Georgia Bulldogs was just eating them some corn dogs.
Man.
Yeah. Shout out to them TCU Corn Dogs. All right, y'all. Lastly, we saw the best moment of the weekend, at least for most Bears fans it was. And this is one thing we all got in common here this morning as Bears fans. The greatest moment, y'all, of last week was when the Detroit Lions dismissed the Green Bay Packers from the NFL playoffs.
Yes, love it.
Boy, there's absolutely nothing better than to make a weekend get started the best way than to see Aaron Rodgers trying to hold back tears, okay, from crying with Randall Cobb, who was crying the whole time down the tunnel when they walked back through the tunnel after getting whooped by the Detroit Lions. And so this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to say to you, Aaron Rodgers, maybe next year. All right. Yes. And so introducing our guest for this morning, Mr. Emmanuel Theophilus. Good morning, my brother, and welcome to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Emmanuel, y'all, is a very active supporter of this podcast, often providing commentary, posts, and great content. Emmanuel is an avid sports fan, rooting primarily for Chicago-based teams, such as our Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, etc. Emmanuel and I met back this past summer when Emmanuel was doing stand-up comedy for the Fan Expo convention. This is like, in a way, Jamal, like the Comic-Con, like the anime type stuff, like cartoons, Japanese cartoons, all the art, all the games, all the posters, all that stuff, people just all over the world coming from.
That's dope.
Yeah. And so Emmanuel was doing comedy there at this event that took place in Rosemont, Illinois, I believe at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. Yep. And so, yes, world, Emmanuel is a comedian and has performed in various places across the United States, from his home state of Indiana, in Naptown, Gary, Hammond, and Georgia, down in the ATL, Illinois, of course, Ohio, Lincoln, Nebraska, Las Vegas, Louisville, Kentucky, and of course, more shows have been booked for 2023. Emmanuel currently has a podcast as well called the Quell Life Podcast, which drops every Monday morning and can be found on various platforms such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, so any place basically where you can find your podcast. And I've taken a look, Emmanuel, and I love the mission of your conversations as well as your content. And so, my brother Emmanuel, we'd like to welcome you this morning to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast experience. We truly appreciate you getting up with us and joining us this morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on, brother. Appreciate it. And that was a dope intro.
Yes, that's what we do, right? You might be all this stuff, just looking like, to make sure it look good. All right. And so, yes, thank you, sir. We appreciate you, Emmanuel. And introducing my brother from another mother, Mr. Jamar Goodman, my Purdue University buddy in business school. Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Man, I'm doing excellent, man. Hey, bear down, #1 pick. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes. Say that to those folks that want to try to make fun of us, right, Emmanuel and Jamar, because we're Bears fans. Don't worry, y'all gonna get y'all turn soon. All right,
we coming, man. Don't sleep on the Bears. We doing big things, man. It's happening.
Absolutely, yes. So, yes, our brother, Mr. Rod Tidwell, probably cannot be with us this morning. And so if he chimes in, you guys might see him shortly. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. And so, on our first and foremost, just an FYI, Emmanuel, we can do a start, sit, and cut at any time of any like-minded questions, okay? And so this could be sports-based, but in this case, Jamar, this could be comedy-based. This could be Eddie Murphy. This could be Richard Pryor. This could be Kevin Hart. And so we're going to get it started this morning and have some fun, all right? But before we get into the start, sit, and cut, we got to get into some sports, y'all. So let's get into this college football playoff national championship game. And so we'll start with you, Jamar. Then we'll go with our guest, and then I'll chime in as well. And so, just curious, Jamar, what were your thoughts upon seeing this national atrocity? Possibly, just let's look at it from a comedy-based perspective, if possible, because is there really any other way, guys, we can look at this national championship game? And did the college football playoff get it right by putting TCU versus Michigan and Ohio State and Georgia in the semifinal? And so, just curious, Jamar, what were your thoughts from this game, man?
Brandon, I turned it off at halftime. I didn't watch the second half. I mean, it was a wrap. So, when the score was, 10-0 and then, TCU scored, I'm like, okay, maybe this might be a game. And then Georgia comes down, scores right away. And then right there, the wheels, completely went off. What was it, 55 straight points afterwards?
Yeah.
So Georgia just, confirmed for the world that there are levels to this. And TCU, in my opinion, I mean, they probably did deserve to be in the playoffs based on what they did to get there. But my gosh, it is levels to this game of college football, from 5-star recruits to just bigger, stronger, faster athletes, just a class of its own. It's like trying to have like the Indiana or Illinois football all-stars going to play a high school team in Texas. Like it's not happening. It's just not. We know there's levels to that, and so that's what was displayed. Like TCU had a great story, Cinderella story, came out, did their thing until that game. Right. And so, Kirby Smart, shout out to him. I mean, that's 2 in a row. Last time 2 in a row happened, I believe, with Alabama back in 10 and 11, and they ended up winning 3 out the last 4, and it was so-called a dynasty then. So Georgia is phenomenal. As far as TCU and Michigan, I mean, I feel like the matchups were deserving for what it was because no 2-loss team came in. I know a bunch of Alabama fans is like, well, we should have been like, if you would have got in, if you didn't lose twice, you lost twice. That's just what it is. And yeah, we probably maybe should have had a different championship game. I think Ohio State should have beat Georgia in the first round. Maybe been a more entertaining game. I don't know, but the fact
Georgia. Jamar, now you're gonna kick me. Now I'm cutting my brother off, and we do that often with each other, bro. Mm-hmm. With Ohio State, aren't you kicking yourself to say we had Georgia? If you looking at that score, bro, and you like just a man, if you in Columbus, Ohio, you at Ohio State, and you looking at that score, you saying stuff like, dang.
Man, I don't think Georgia didn't win that game, man. Ohio lost it. If their kicker had the strength and I think he only missed like 4 the entire season. Man, that's field goals, that's points, field goal attempts. That's just 4. Like if he hadn't strength, man, they'd have lost. So that was a game. And then the championship,
Was the
man. Like
game.
me personally, I'm not a big fan of blowouts. I like it, especially championship. I like it to be competitive. Like okay, like Jamal said, Georgia scored, then got 10, like then they came back and scored. Like okay, it's gonna be a game, and then nope. Okay, they got it. Nope. Okay, they got 2 halves left. Nope. Like well, and then when they started putting in the backup to the backup, I'm like, shit, that's disrespectful. Now you gotta fight. I mean, you ain't about to throw your Pee Wee line in on me.
You got those hands, man.
Right? You ain't about to throw in the Pee Wee line, and then you guys ever seen the movie Little Giants from way back when?
Oh
Yeah,
man.
that's my movie. That's a
That's
classic.
that's kind of how I felt, man. Like they threw in the ragtag. You on the squad because we need a full roster, and still got trucked. I was like, what is that, man? Hey,
So they
let
ran
the
over the
come out there.
starters with
Come out there one
TCU.
hit and everything, man. What are y'all doing right now? What is happening? Oh man,
Oh
and
my
this, whoo, and it sucks because man, TCU had a Cinderella story, man. 14-1. They came in unranked, and nobody expected them to do anything. And then they started racking up win after win after win. Got that one L, but it was like they might do this. And then it's like, do y'all not watch sports movies? When y'all make it in by the skin of your teeth, you're supposed to take it to the house. Like, it was just, I felt for him. I laughed, but I felt for him.
You say you laughed.
Oh yeah, I laughed my ass off. I was like, man, what is? Mm.
Yeah, Jamar, you can kick my butt later for cutting you off. But yeah, bro, like Jamar, literally, bro, I'm sitting there looking at the game. I'm like, all right, yeah, 10-7, we gonna get a game. And then once I knew Georgia scored for me, Jamar, I'm like, all right, Georgia finna blow the brakes off them. Because one thing about Georgia, when you watch them, Jamar, all year, is when they get off to a fast start, ain't no stopping them. It's no stopping them. They're going to keep going. Kirby Smart is like he's like a vulture. He just go at you, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. You saw how he was ready for Alabama last year in that national championship game. He let them know y'all finna get some smoke. Like, and that's exactly what they gave him. So this really tells you a lot, Jamar, about Kirby Smart, who he is as a personality. Like he's a very stern man. And literally watching to see like they scored, I'm like, oh, they finna go ahead and steamroll TCU. And so yeah, me personally, y'all, I would have liked to seen TCU and maybe Deshaun. Good morning, bro. Deshaun, I would have literally liked to seen like TCU versus like Georgia in the semifinal. Because for me, Emmanuel, I just knew that TCU weren't going to be on that level. And so I think people got a little tricked when they seen TCU get into that dogfight with Kansas State, and which Kansas State won. So I'm like, they ain't kind of sending y'all a message right there that Kansas State beat TCU. What they going to do with Georgia? You know, like, and so they got lucky and sneaked away past Michigan, in which Michigan, do y'all kind of agree, Jamar and Manuel, that with Michigan, the lights just get too bright for them at times?
Yeah.
Lights get super bright for them, like Dallas Cowboy type stuff. Like, I don't know if the lights was too bright for them, Jamar, but they did good all year till them lights got bright.
I don't know because like, you know, Michigan's expectations is basically to beat Ohio State. That's their that's their thing. Ohio State expectations is to win it all. Michigan's expectations be Ohio State. They beat Ohio State. The fan base is great. I think they just took TCU for granted. I think that's what that was. They just looked at them like, oh, we should thump them. Like, because Michigan played physical football all year. They have. They're just a smaller version of Georgia. Georgia's a big bully. Michigan is a bully too, but not as big as Georgia. But
right.
Somehow I think they took them for granted. That's how I think how that happened, because they got down big and it was too little too late for them when they was coming back.
Right. Yeah. They needed one more drive. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all. Just to address the comments real quick. Deshaun stated TCU deserved it, but really they didn't. Technically they did, but we know damn well, come on, man, it's Georgia. them Bulldogs were feasting on frog legs from start to finish. I like that, Deshaun. He say them Bulldogs were feasting on frog legs from start to finish. Like
I
in a
mean, it
seafood
was.
I mean, yeah.
pretty much, right? And then he also stated, I believe Georgia punted on one drive all night. Every
Yeah.
other drive was a scoring one.
I mean, they scored, if I'm not mistaken, was it 9 touchdowns?
All
Yeah.
right, bro.
That's man,
Yeah.
that's insane to get 9. Like you don't even see that in the NFL, man. So of course it's a high caliber team, so you wouldn't. But 9, whew, that
Dude,
like I'll go home, man. Don't nobody talk to me, don't nobody look at me, leave me alone. Like I'm mad at the
that,
team behind something like that, man.
hey, that plane ride had to been quiet.
Quiet
Nobody
in the
saying
mud.
nothing. Everybody just
Mm.
looking out the plane window.
Right. It was a good ride.
That's sad. Sam McLaughlin song playing in the background. In the arms of an angel. Just sitting there,
Boy.
just sitting through it. And like, and even from a sad aspect of it, man. You know, there's seniors on that team who that was their last game.
Right.
Like, man, my last game was getting trucked in front of national television, man. So many people saw that.
Right.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
gotta
So,
that's gotta hurt.
so I guess it goes back to the question I asked in the group. It's like, would you rather get blown out in the championship game and not make it at all?
Right. I mean, it was a great question, right? Because for me, I mean, I don't even know if I want to show up for a blowout like that. I'd rather just lose in the semifinal, go down to the wire. But just getting that I feel like Jamar now, like Pandora's box has been open again in college football after this. Because we ain't the only one talking about this, Jamar. They talked about it during the game. They talked about it after the game. People started talking about it on their podcast, in which next week we'll have Al Williams, Jamar, and he was talking about it on his podcast. Like, it was just went everywhere. People were just like, come on, man. Like, why didn't we just, usually put the little guys in that 4th seed as it has been traditionally and see if they could beat the big guy. And if we know if they can beat the big guy, then they can beat that 2 or 3 seed. And so,
Yeah.
To answer your question, Jamar, I think me personally, the way I look at it is by that point it's no longer about the team, it's about my stats. Because after a while, people pick who they want from teams. So you can be a star on your team, and the team can suck. Like, but the team as a whole can make it. Like, yeah, the whole team made it, but I got my eyes focused on the running back because that's a solid player. So I guess any chance to get in front of more scouts is the way I'd go.
I like that.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. 'Cause I'm pretty sure TCU's quarterback was a Heisman finalist, right?
Yeah.
Max Dugan. So I mean, that didn't help his cause at all, just from a draft standpoint. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If my team losing, I'm getting blown out. I'm trying to put up as many stats as I can just to be a silver lining or something. Like, for real.
Right. So Jamar, if I'm on the field and I try to tackle you, you like juke me on purpose and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to do you like Chandler Jones did Mac Jones. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I got to go out with a bang,
man.
Right. I stepping all over the field and stuff like Deion Sanders. Like, bro, he only ran 10 yards. Like,
what you don't want to be is that player that messes up, though. Like, man, like I love my Bears, man. But what was the rookie who fumbled twice?
Valus Jones.
Yes, that cat. Man, couldn't catch the baton. Then I was like, bruh, like I get it here, rookie. So I'm being lenient, but I'm like, come on, you gotta hold the ball, man. Hold the ball. You got one job. Hold on to the ball and then run. That's it.
Right.
But I get it though. It's nerves and it's
all those nerves, all that, man. You raised a very good point. Just quickly on the comments, So Deshaun Reed stated, "Not many people can say they played with their national championship patch on their jersey. It's what you dream of. I'd rather play. It's one extra game or opportunity for scouts."
Yeah.
100%.
So yeah. Fellas, let's now progress. Jamar and Emmanuel. Let's now move on to the Damar Hamlin situation. And so, Jamar, you can just give us your thoughts upon seeing the release from the hospital, etc. But for you, Emmanuel, what were your thoughts just in general from this? And what are your thoughts now?
Like when it happened, it was one of those shocking moments that where were you when it went down? Because like it was a normal tackle, no nothing too outrageous about it. And he stood up like he was fine. And then a second later, he was on the ground. So of course, my immediate thought as a human was, "Oh my God, is he okay? Is he gonna be all right? Don't let this be the unthinkable and him not make it." And to see what the other teams, both teams did, they made the human shield to block everybody from seeing what was going on, and then the reports came out that the coach, the NFL was saying, "Hey, take him to the locker room, come back out in 5 minutes, ready to play." And the players were like, "Nah, I'm not going back out there. You're crazy." And then for the NFL to ask, "Hey, you got to play this game," and just they forget the fact that these are still human beings, man. Like you got to have some human aspect to it. Like how are you expecting people who just saw like their brother go down to come back and keep playing? So I applaud the players for taking that stand and saying, "I'm not going back on that. We're not playing." Both sides like, "We're not playing. We're done." And I followed throughout like everybody else. I followed on social media to see how he was doing, make sure he was okay. Thank God he's fine and he was able to go home and he's recovering. But yeah, that was a scary thing, man.
Yeah, basically, yeah, I agree. Jamar, how do you feel now, man? Like, you happy to see him? Of course, I'm sure you're happy, right? Like, released from the hospital. Um, is there a long recovery or long road for him ahead for him, you think?
I mean, it's possible because everybody will respond different to certain circumstances, certain health, issues as well.
Right.
I mean, I kind of somewhat related to like Tua situation, right? Like Tua early in the year, concussion on national TV, just one of those moments as well that's like highly discussed and scrutinized and stuff. And of course Tua's not playing this week, and it's like is Tua coming back? Like is he done? Is he gonna try to keep going? And same thing in my perspective with Hamlin's. Like, is he going to try to play football again? I mean, because they ended up guaranteeing the rest of his contract. They figured that out, and I was happy to see that part.
Yeah.
Right. And I know whenever the new CBA is, the NFLPA definitely like going to be very proactive to figure that part out when certain circumstances like this happen. NFL is one of those sports to where, the game is so violent that the contracts need to be guaranteed, but the same thing, it's crazy. The same thing that needs to be guaranteed is the same reason why it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right.
And and I find that, very crazy or whatnot. But nevertheless, as far as Hamlin, I'm of course very, very excited. I know the Buffalo Bills in general is like relieved, and they can like actually move forward now, knowing that he'll be all right. And so, I mean, as far as recovery, I mean, we'll see. I guess it's more so like a day at a time type deal. We'll get there when we get there.
Right.
Yeah. And so, curious. Let's move on now, fellas. We're going to do NFL reactions and overreactions. But before we do that, Jamar, with your approval, can I do a start, sitting, cut? I usually have Jamar Ian do it, but Emmanuel, start, sit, or cut? Richard Pryor, Kevin Hart, Eddie Murphy.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay, so I'm gonna start. I gotta start Richard Pryor, man. He's an OG. Yeah, like gotta start Richard Pryor. I'm gonna sit Eddie because I'm a cut Kev only because like I liked Kevin Hart in the beginning, but he's slowly kind of losing his stand up flame. And I know because she's transitioning into other things, but yeah, that's probably the best order. I can't cut Richard. It's just that's not possible. The black in me can't let that happen. And Eddie's comedy, man. Eddie was he's another goat, man. He was a phenomenal comedian. And he stayed pretty steady throughout his career too. Kevin, I felt like he did so much so fast. Like he had special after special that he was in movie after movie after movie. So yeah, I'm gonna cut Kev just because compared to the other two, he ain't got it. Only compared to those two, he's a great comedian, but compared to Richard Pryor, one of the goats. Now they're the goat of comedy. Can't can't do it. And then Eddie, it's because Eddie's up there too.
Right. They all
Yeah.
heavy. They all heavyweights, all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Just curious, Emmanuel, as well. What got you? So before we get into our NFL reactions and overreactions, what got you into doing comedy?
Like I've always been kind of a funny guy. Like I've always cracked jokes with my friends and whatnot. So I guess I always kind of had it in me. But I also know that just because you're funny with your friends doesn't mean you're gonna be funny on stage. Because funny in front of strangers is a whole nother animal. My mom was actually dating somebody whose brother owned a comedy club, and he's like, "Hey, Heavy Man, you come up there and tell some jokes." And I was like, "Nah, I'm okay. I'm not funny like that." And I was in my 20s, so I was ego driven. So he was like, "Oh, so you say you can't do it?" I'm like, "No, don't do that. I didn't say that. Don't lie." So it's like I go to the club and I sit on their little meeting before the show, and like, "Hey, since you're new, next week you get 3 minutes." Like, okay, cool, no problem. So I stay for that show, go home, write some jokes, and try to iron them all out and whatnot, and come back the following Wednesday. The first chick goes online, she's drunk, so she bombs. Like she just does horrible. Dude after her goes on, he doesn't get any laughs. And I come up to say for the first time, his comedy debut. I'm like, don't tell them that. Let them think I'm a vet. I'm just having an off night. This is an open mic. Like I'm
Right.
allowed to work things out, man. Don't do that.
Right.
So come on, Emmanuel T. Like, okay, here we go. So I go on stage, tell my first joke, get some laughs. Tell my second joke, get more laughs. Tell my third joke, the whole club is laughing. Then they give you a light, let you know, hey, time to run out, get off stage. So had the whole club laughing. I finished strong and got off. I was like, I like that. That was intoxicating. And like I've been doing it ever since. I had to take a break for about 7, 8 years because when you start out, money ain't a thing. Like you do a lot of shows you do, your payment is stage time. So that's all. Every now and then you get some chicken wings, but more often than not is just stage time. And then money got tight at the house, so I had to take more hours at the job to help out the fam. But I got back into it, man, and it's just I love doing it because I love making people laugh. I had a buddy of mine ask me, what you're gonna do if you make it big and it's not what you thought it was gonna be. And I'm like, look, I don't need to be famous. I would love to. Don't get me wrong. If Netflix calls and say, hey, we want to give you X amount of money for a deal, I'm taking it. But I just want to be able to make people laugh. If I can do that, and I gotta have a day job, cool. If I can do comedy solely, cool. If I get mega famous, cool. I just want to make people laugh, man, because the world it's depression at times, man. And as someone who's gone through depression, I would hate for anyone else to go through that. So if I can get on stage and make you forget about your outside troubles for 45 minutes, half an hour, however long you're there, I'm winning.
Right.
Real,
Absolutely. Go ahead,
real,
Jamal.
real talk. I appreciate you for sharing that with us. Really do.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. FYI, Jamar and Emmanuel, Jonathan Abernathy, he came in on the comments and he stated, start Eddie, sit Richard, cut Kevin. Really? Jonathan, you gonna start Eddie Murphy over really, Jamar?
Over Pryor?
Start Eddie over Richard Pryor, bro? Really? Oh wow.
You gotta elaborate on that. I need info.
Hey,
I have questions.
at least he ain't cut Eddie or Richard.
Oh yeah, if he cut Fryer, we gotta find him because that's
right. Absolutely. What is it, Jonathan Abernathy? Is it The Nutty Professor? That was a great movie. Was it the Nutty Professor that did it for you? And what was the other movie, y'all? When he was with the kids.
Daddy Daycare.
Yeah, Daddy Daycare.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a few flops, if we're being honest, but Beverly Hills Cop, I'm glad they be doing that because I loved part 3. That one was kind of mid to most people, but I really enjoyed part 3. And making a part 4 too, this shooting, so I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
I enjoyed the series. Life is an all-time classic.
Oh,
right.
You gonna
right.
eat your cornbread?
Coming to America, all-time classic.
Right.
Harlem Nights with both of them in there. I mean, I don't know. He
Harlem
got too many
Nights,
classics.
man. That is a comedy staple. That's a black movie classic, man. It has such great black excellence in that movie.
Right. And are y'all wait, y'all didn't mention Coming to America though?
No, he did. Jamal did.
Okay, that's the one. Okay, I wasn't. Yeah, Coming to America, bro. That's like one of the all-time classics, right, Jamar?
It
and
is.
So,
absolutely.
Just an FYI, she's your queen.
Let you be.
How does the rest of it go, Emmanuel? You gonna sing it with me?
I just know the opening line. Dude hit that hot note. I was like, man, what?
I'm telling you, right?
That was a great movie, man. And part 2 was good too.
Yeah, part 2 wasn't bad. And Brandon, you brave for attempting that note too. So I couldn't do it.
Yeah. And by the way, y'all, Jonathan stated, but Richard was dope. He stated, listen, Richard to me was a bit too much passive aggressive and yelled a lot. He spoke real SHIT, but Eddie, it was his stand-up for me. And his movies were part of my childhood. Kevin is too damn repetitive.
I can feel that. Hey, Eddie Murphy's Raw stand-up. Oh my God.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah. Jamar, bro, like, so, I still got Sirius XM, right? And so Sirius XM, I be listening to this comedy channel. And so Eddie Murphy got this is the difference for me, y'all. Eddie Murphy got a lot of memorable stand-ups, like Eddie Griffin do, various comedians. But Richard Pryor, they play him so much. He got multiple memorable all-time classic stand-ups. It's one of them, man. I be crying. It was one where Jamar, he was in a jungle or something with some animals or something. And he got to talking about how the animals were trying to kill him and stuff like that, and how afraid he was and stuff like that. And it was just super duper hilarious, man. It's various ones where you talk about him making out with a woman and it went bad and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know there's one that he does where he set himself on fire.
Ooh.
And then ran down the street. That bit was hilarious.
Hey, we got a start sit cut from Jonathan.
Okay, what is it, bro?
He said Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Think, Emmanuel.
Okay. I gotta start Dave. Dave is killing the game right now. I'm a sit Kev and I'm a cut Cat. Only because Cat's in trouble now. He's in trouble more often than not now anyway. So he probably got a warning anyway. So I'm just going ahead and, hey Cat, don't show up because you're gonna get locked up. Don't worry about it, bro. Because they know where you're gonna be. That actually happened here in Indy a few years back. He's supposed to be here and got arrested before he got to town because they knew where he was gonna be. So he came to town, got arrested, and got sent back. I was like, yep. So yeah.
Yikes.
That's
tough.
That wasn't interesting because people were talking, yeah, I got tickets to the show, but I'm gonna go to the show. And then, a few hours before it, the show's being canceled. Came home and got arrested. I was like, this.
That's rough.
Mar, what you think, bro? What you think for this?
Whew. definitely starting Dave, and I don't know, I might plead the fifth on the other ones. I don't know, like a lot of like they're all, you know, great in their own unique lane. So it's tough. Like I appreciate Cat Williams for the era and the time that he did. I appreciate Kevin Hart, Laugh at My Pain, like his early stuff, like you were saying, like his early stuff was excellent. I mean, and like you said, he transitioned to more stuff, and it's like, yeah, but early stuff like was excellent. Dave Chappelle has always kept it real, from his stand-up on Netflix to all the way back to the Dave Chappelle show when America fell in love with him in the beginning, to Blue Streak even before that. So it was like
half baked.
So yeah, I'm starting Dave, and I'm pleading the fifth on the others. Man. I can't do it. I'm not strong enough to do it this morning. I'm sorry.
Well, for me, y'all, I mean, this is hard. It is, but I just think of all three of these guys stand up. So Kevin Hart, y'all. Kevin Hart, just talking about his kids all the time. What's the most famous Kevin Hart stand-up moment y'all got for Kevin Hart? Because he done has some funny stand-up moments.
Hey man, teacher ain't got no nipples to
yeah, I about to say, my mama told me to tell you.
Right.
to dad fighting an octopus.
All right. A raccoon in the backyard.
Right. What do you say? I saw you see me see you.
Man.
So he got a raccoon in the backyard standing on top of the garbage mound with his D out, holding his nuts, doing something. Oh my goodness, man! I can't say it. We can't say everything with Kevin Hart jokes, but boy, super hilarious. And then y'all remember Cat Williams? This right here, this stuff right here.
I don't need I need regular weed. I don't need Thriller, Killer, Simon. I need my bag labeled regular weed.
Yeah, man, Cat Williams don't have the Pimp Chronicles just, yeah. But Dave Chappelle, yeah, you got to start Dave because he's a legend in it, man. He's been doing it way before these guys, at least with famous. I remember Dave Chappelle from middle 1990 movies, you know, and he was just like Jamal, like just a person that'll kind of chime in on a movie. You know what I'm saying? And that'll kind of be that. I'm trying to think of that one movie, y'all, where Dave Chappelle, I think he might have been a crackhead or something. And I think it might have been with the Wayans brothers or something. No, that was Nutty Professor. That was Nutty Professor, right? When
Reggie.
That was Nutty Professor, right? When Eddie Murphy made fun of him.
Yeah, because he had that jacked up hair.
Yeah, he was.
He had those jacked up teeth.
Yeah, we'll be shopping.
Roasted the bleep out of him. Oh my Lord.
Loving you.
And it was the Eddie Murphy laugh after it. Remember the laugh?
Man.
That was hilarious, man. And so, yeah, y'all, we are sorry for this ADHD moment. We supposed to be talking sports, but it's Jamar's fault while we got way off topic. Okay. Yes. All right, y'all. So just to address the comments, Rhonda stated Eddie Raw was the best. And then Rhonda stated that Ice Cream Man was funny in that bit. Maybe you remember Emmanuel Ice Cream Man, but I'm not sure if maybe that was like a movie or like a comedian skit or something like that. But
I want to say that was a What's Your Power bit, but I might be wrong.
I'm gonna Google it. Okay. And then Jonathan Abernathy stated, my main purpose for that star city cut is because you cannot put Kevin Hart in a scenario with Eddie and Richard. It is unfair.
Okay.
Yes, I take that. Yeah. You know, just Kevin's just really popular today. Like a lot, I think it's a generational thing too, y'all, a little bit. Because I think a lot of the people from like, let's say that's younger than us, they might gravitate towards a Kevin Hart or they might gravitate towards the guy that's what's the comedian, y'all, that's on the show with Nick Cannon, Wildin' Out, the dark skinned brother. Like he's really making a lot of waves in the comedian world.
I can picture him. What's dude's name?
Right. And then what was the other comedian, y'all? The one that was talking about basically he went outside with his car and it was two gay dudes on a car waiting for him. And then when they walked up to him, he was like, y'all know what I'm talking about?
Not that one. That one I can't place. I'm trying to think of the first dude though.
Right.
Because Nick, Wildin' Out, they cycle out a lot of comedians and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I know Hitman Holler and Conceited, they're both battle rappers, and they're pretty solid. I saw people saying how they saw them in battle rap and like, oh, they can't battle rap, they can't.
Right.
I can't base it raps off of Wildin' Out because they gotta play around sense of rules and whatnot. But the Hitman Holler and Conceited and actual battle raps, they go hard. They're cold.
Right. And so FYI, y'all, the guy I was talking about today is DC Young Fly. You ever heard of him? DC Young Fly. Okay. And then the guy that I was talking about on the car with the two gay dudes that was on the car manual, and he walked out and they say he was making fun of him in the comedy club, right? And so he walked to his car and then they walked up to him and he was like, say that stuff you said. Say that stuff you said.
Man, that is a comedian's worst nightmare, man. That's why I avoid attacking the audience. I may throw a light jab at somebody, but my whole set is really based around making fun of myself because that lowers their guard and makes them like you more. Because all this guy's going to talk about himself that he's good people. And I'm only 5'2", man, so I can't talk too strong to anybody in the crowd. Security got you while you there, but once you leave,
you on your own,
man. That happened in the parking lot. We don't own that.
Right. So that comedian, y'all, if y'all know him, Carlos Miller.
Okay, yeah.
Carlos Miller. Yeah. Jamar, my bro, I can do this for you. I'll pull it up real quick. This is Carlos Miller right here. Can you see it? Carlos Miller right there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he was in Indy recently.
That's DC Young Fly right there.
Yep.
Thank God for Google, right?
Boy.
We do a lot of technology. Yeah. And so y'all, we are sorry for that ADHD moment. We're gonna get back into talking sports. All right. And so NFL reactions and overreactions. Jamar, we began with you, my brother. And then from there, we will go with Emmanuel and so forth. And so, yes, you are right, Jonathan. Yes, DC Young Fly. His skit is raw from Rhonda. And Rhonda stated he said he liked being ice cream man in a neighborhood and pull up and move his van and make the kids chase him on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I remember that bit now.
That's bogus.
What sticks out to me about that Raw special is he was on stage in that leather suit. And I don't know if y'all ever been on the spotlights. It gets hot. And leather don't breathe, man. So I can imagine him going as he's trying to move. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think I do remember that leather outfit. Oh, man.
I was thinking he got to be hot in that.
Right. Yeah. All right, y'all. So, yes. Jamar Goodman stated, I need to rewatch it soon. I'm just addressing the comments, y'all. Jamar Goodman stated, I need to rewatch it soon. And then after that, Jonathan Abernathy stated, they on 85 South with DC, Carlos, and Chico. But time for overreactions. Yes, you are right, Jonathan. Yes, thank you for keeping us focused because we got ADHD. All right, so NFL reactions and overreactions. All right, so is it an overreaction, Jamar, to think that after the backwards lateral by New England Patriots wide receiver Jacoby Myers, and after the missing the NFL playoffs, that at the team's 2022 NFL season banquet celebration, that New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick will attempt to choke out Jacoby Myers, only to be restrained by Matt Patricia and the team doctor?
You know what? I think that's overreaction. I don't see Bill getting that physical with anybody. I feel like you just put the head out on somebody and they'll just catch Jacoby in the bathroom somewhere. It might be Mac Jones the one to do it because that's the one who was directly affected by Jacoby's dumb actions. But yeah, nevertheless, that team needs some work. They need to go get Bill O'Brien, offensive coordinator or something, because nobody is scared of the New England Patriots. I mean, you saw me up here last week laugh at Dwayne in his face about his team. So.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, is that an overreaction or like is that too much of us? The Bill Belichick would choke out Jacoby Myers at the banquet celebration because he feel like it's his fault that they missed the playoffs because of that backward lateral.
I'm gonna say it's an overreaction only because it's in public. That's you gotta catch them when ain't nobody around, man. Because the Patriots ain't been the same since Tom left. I mean, and that was Bill's moment. It's like, I don't need time. And then he messed it up. Yeah, we're going to have some words behind cameras.
Oh, man. Dwayne just happened to be watching right now.
I know, right? So the question was, Dwayne, was it an overreaction to think that at the team's annual banquet celebration, okay, that Bill Belichick live on stage when Jacoby Myers is doing his speech will run right on stage and choke him out in front of everybody because they missed the 22 NFL playoffs. And so that was the question. Jamar wrote this, by the way, y'all. So that was the whole NFL reaction and overreaction. And so, yeah. Additionally, y'all addressing the comments. Jonathan Abernathy stated, nah, Bill looks like someone to bring a bat to a fist fight.
I can see that.
Dang.
And then Dwayne Hawkins stated, morning and what the hell? Y'all dissing my squad. And then he stated, Bears ain't been the same since Rex left.
Sexy Rexy? Man, whatever.
Sexy Rex.
Oh, boy.
Sexy Rexy. Rexy Grossman, man. That okay, so he was the QB in that 06 Super Bowl, man.
Right. Yep.
I stand by this statement. I am not mad that we lost. I am mad how we lost. To me, it looked like we gave that game away because all of a sudden Indy got money for a new stadium. And it did seem a little funny to me. And they were like, nah, y'all just mad because y'all suck. Y'all lost, this and that. But the following year, when the Saints beat them, it was, it's fixed. They need that money because of Katrina. We should have won. No. If my team just lost, your team just lost. You can't pick and choose when you want to call fixed, man. That's not how this works.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes, and Emmanuel, to address the comments, Dwayne Hawkins stated overreaction. And here comes Anthony Walsh with nothing to do with his life, but to talk about the Bears as of late. He gonna say, we are salty since 1985, LOL. Good morning to you as well, Anthony. Yes. I think low-key, Jamar, he's becoming a Detroit Lion fan because he got family up there.
I wasn't born in 85, so I can't be salty about that. I didn't make it here to 88.
Wait, you were born in 85, Emmanuel?
No, I was born in 88.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, because you look like you about 15.
Man, black on crack on me. Forever young.
I heard that.
And also, I can't go with beard and facial hair, man. Like, I don't know, like, I get a little whiskers, so I just save and call it a day.
Right. Yeah. All right.
I don't know what it is, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Rhonda LaGuay stated, Bill needs to spank that rookie quarterback Jones and let the whole team tackle him at once.
Whatever the appropriate punishment is.
What was that drill called when you ran the circle and they collided?
That Oklahoma drill?
Nah, what was it? Because I remember doing it in Pee Wee. Man, back when I played for that one season. Just never again. What was it called? Two players would get tapped. They would run around past one another, and then on the other pass, they collide.
I think it was the Oklahoma.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, the Oklahoma drill.
All right.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
I hated the Oklahoma drill. You had to go against somebody that was way bigger than you.
Story of my life.
Yeah. On the other hand, y'all, Rhonda LaGuay stated funny. Cal Orton stated that Or Jonathan Abernathy stated Cal Orton was a better quarterback than Rex. Sorry, so. Jonathan Abernathy, you need to get a life, all right? Then he stated 29-17 and y'all had the lead. Maybe he's talking about the Patriots or he's talking about us. I'm not sure. Oh, he's talking about the Super Bowl. Yeah, he making fun of the Bears too now. Yo, get me started with these Indianapolis Colts, okay? Because I think we did definitely lose the Super Bowl in 29-17. We had the lead. Yes, we did. After Muhsin Muhammad, y'all scored the touchdown, and we were up 14, I believe, to 7. Dwayne Hawkins stated, Bill just needs to stop being so damn stubborn. And then Jonathan Abernathy stated, I felt his pain about not being able to grow a beard. Yeah.
It happens, man. Unfortunate.
Dwayne Hawkins stated, Emmanuel looks like Jamar without facial hair. LOL.
I just saw that comment.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness, man. Y'all need to stay focused this morning, man. On the other hand, so Jamar and Jonathan both got reactions. So Jonathan Abernathy stated, if y'all would have started Cal Orton, y'all could have won that game. But no, y'all started Rex. Short arm self.
Nah, we would definitely lose that game. I'm telling you, man, we were supposed to lose that game. Cause ain't no way.
But we was getting past Peyton.
And speaking of Peyton, man, like he's a great quarterback. I'm not gonna knock him. And based off that, I can bring up our quarterback, Justin Fields. I'm in a fan group on Facebook, man, and there's people in that group who just live to drag that boy, man. It's he missed the pass, he's trash, cut him. He got picked, cut him. Like, do y'all not remember how trash Peyton Manning was in his first 5 years in the league? Like, it takes time to grow greatness, man. Everyone, and it's all people who sit at home who are out of weight, out of shape, and overweight, and don't know nothing about football, screaming, cut him. People in the NFL are all saying, man, Justin got talent. He has potential. He's going to be great. So what makes you think you know more than them? It's just that fan base that group's fan base is toxic in the mug, man. They crazy.
Yeah. Fans. All right, let's move on, fellas. All right, Jamar, is it an overreaction to think that after getting whooped by the Detroit Lions this past weekend, that Aaron Rodgers' next career move will be to be one of the participants on the next season of The Bachelorette, after which The Bachelorette, in this first time in its history, will have a playoff, and Aaron Rodgers will just get abruptly upset and walk off the set screaming, why the hell y'all got playoffs?
Wow. Glad you said The Bachelorette.
Right?
Wow. Look, man, with Aaron Rodgers, nothing's ever an overreaction, right?
Man,
nothing,
isn't
right?
it?
Like nothing. But to actually see that game unfold, and Dan Campbell got the whole country biting knees at this point. Hey, Brandon, we told you, man. We told you about the Lions.
Yeah, here they come.
We did, man.
Real deal, Holyfield. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yep. Emmanuel, is this an overreaction to think that he'll get upset because they mentioned playoffs for The Bachelorette?
Nah, it's a warranted jab, man. I think it's an underreaction because no matter how bad the Bears do, more often than not, they don't let us down. Like, we know what we gonna do each season. Like, we not gonna go far. We gonna make it here. The Packers, I hate them so much. The Packers will make it to the playoffs and then choke. That's just their bag. And I love it when Aaron Rodgers doesn't make it because Aaron Rodgers is trash. It's discussed. No other we discussed. So I think it's I don't think it's overreaction. I think it fits.
I mean, in all seriousness, if the Packers would have went to the playoffs,
They would have lost.
to play the 49ers. We know how that story goes. I mean, there you go.
Yeah, they would have been losing the day tomorrow, right? Yep.
Mhm.
On the other hand, Dwayne Hawkins stated facts. Jonathan Abernathy, my favorite player is Peyton, so y'all handed us a ring. And in reality, y'all's problem that game was Bob Sanders, the defensive player of the year that year. Yeah, he was a dog, Bob Sanders.
Yeah.
Rondell LeBoy,
Yeah.
they do that every team's page. It's all the quarterback, right? Right. Thank you, Rhonda. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
Dwayne Hawkins, Bob was a one-trick pony, had one good year. He
Ooh.
was about Bob Sanders.
That's a Patriots fan going at Colts fan. That's a rivalry within itself. So
Yes.
Right. So we'll let them have it out on social media. On the other hand, y'all, let's move on. Is it an overreaction to think, Jamar, that recently starting Tennessee Titan quarterback Joshua Dobbs and former NBA veteran Charlie Villanueva are natural-born twins?
you're wrong for that. You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that.
Is it an overreaction to think that they're natural-born twins?
No, it's not an overreaction, but you're wrong for that. You're wrong for asking that. But I mean, I say this much. I'd rather have Joshua Dobbs as my quarterback instead of Ryan Tannehill or Trash Hill, whatever you want to call him these days. I'll leave it at that.
I agree. Facts.
Yeah. Do you agree, Emmanuel, that Joshua Dobbs and Charlie Villanueva kind of look alike a little bit?
They a little bit, man. It's one of those, like, you hate to say it, but it's like, y'all kind of do look alike.
Right. Right, exactly. Yes. All right. Let's move on, y'all. Let's move on to the next NFL reaction, overreaction. Is it, Jamar, an overreaction to think that Disney Channel quarterback Zach Wilson, after a highly likely possibility of being shipped out of New York, will turn to acting, Jamar, and try for the upcoming Netflix version of Disney Channel's High School Musical, the series, playing Ricky Bowen, the guitarist and skateboarder who will fall in love with Nene?
I'll say it's an overreaction because I don't even think he'll even get the role for that. This dude is just trash. Disney Channel reject at this point. My
Man.
gosh, can't play real life football, can't even play the movie. Like, just be done, bro.
Emmanuel, what do you think? Is this a reaction or overreaction or underreaction? What do you think?
I think it's an underreaction that he thinks. I think it's an underreaction. Why not go for Hulu? Because Disney ain't gonna take a chance on you, because Disney still gotta maintain they family friendly facade.
Right.
Go for aim for, like, I think, was it Paramount? No, was it Paramount Plus or Nickelodeon that has that movie, The Game?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for that. Like, don't go for Disney at the gate, because Disney got money. They don't need you.
Right. Yes. Let's address the comments, y'all. Jonathan Abernathy stated, Aaron Rodgers, I'm taking my talents to San Francisco in his LeBron voice. Anthony Walsh stated, he got a lion. Looks like he's definitely becoming a Detroit Lion fan. And then Jonathan Abernathy stated, Mr. Patriots fan, you still having nightmares of Kelvin Hayden and that interception that was returned to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember that, Emmanuel. That was back, I believe, in 2006. Calvin Hayden, I think, got an interception against us too in the Super Bowl. And I think for that one, he took it back to the house. And then, Jonathan Abernathy is referring to my Charlie Villanueva and Joshua Dobbs comparison. And so, yes, let's now move on to the last overreaction. We'll go with you, Emmanuel. Is it an overreaction to think that after hiring Jeff Saturday as its interim head coach, that Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay is currently looking to hire current ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky as his quarterbacks coach next season, Uncle Shannon Sharp as his offensive coordinator, and then bring Tony Romo out the booth to be a starting quarterback next season? Do you think this is possible?
Nah, it's not an overreaction, because the Colts this whole half season have been making bad decisions. So why change it? Why change the formula? Stay true to the course.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's right in line with their brand this past few games.
Right. Right.
Woo.
Yeah. Additionally, Jonathan Abernathy stated, man, Zach Wilson will be out of the league in 2 years, playing in the CFL, owning 3 McDonald's. He stated him and Johnny Manziel will be business partners and roommates. So yeah. And just lastly, Jamar, for this NFL reaction and overreaction, is it an overreaction to think that after hiring Jeff Saturday as his interim head coach, that Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay is looking to hire current ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky as his quarterbacks coach next season, Uncle Shay Shannon Sharp as his offensive coordinator, and then bring Tony Romo out the booth and put him behind center as the team's starting quarterback next season?
I mean, as elaborate and interesting as that sounds, I think that's an overreaction. Jeff Saturday has definitely proved that he does not need to be the coach of that team by any means. There's nothing that could save that man. Not even change his last name to Sunday. It's not working.
All right. Yes. And so let's now transition y'all quickly to the NBA before we do our by the way, comment stated Jonathan Abernathy blocked Brandon. Y'all just playing that, LOL. And then Anthony Walsh stated he's scouting Indianapolis Middle School for his next head coaching job. And then Jonathan Abernathy stated, y'all stop coming at my Colts. Yeah, only if you didn't come at our Bears.
All right.
Only if you didn't come at our Bears, And so, yes. All right, let's transition to the NBA really quickly. Let's pivot. We're all Bulls fans here. And so, Jamar, curious, bro, are the Chicago Bulls a disappointment for you thus far this season? And then thus far for you, what has been the problem with this team?
You know what? Let Emmanuel go first on this one.
Okay, Emmanuel, what do you think?
Like, I'm never going to be disappointed in my team, man. I'm always, the moments where I would say they let me down, man. But I think the main problem is consistency and keeping the energy up, because they came out the gate really strong. Like, they were doing it. And then they just kind of hit the wall, and now we're stuck in neutral. So I think our main thing is always, keeping that same energy we start off with.
Right. Yeah. Jamar, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a disappointment overall. Between not having Lonzo Ball playing, that whole situation is disappointing within itself because we're not at full strength. He's an essential part of what this team does, especially on both sides of the ball. Levine and that lingering knee injury. I mean, how do you come into the season with a load management game? Like, how do you do that? You just signed this man to that contract. How do you do that? Right. DeRozan has been a bright spot. I mean, he can't do it by himself. Vooch has actually played a little bit better, and I like our Chicago boy, your Morgantown alum, Io.
Morgan Park, yeah.
He's been very, very solid this year. But just overall, it's back to where it was. I think what was it? A couple years ago, to where we will beat the good teams but lose to the bad teams. It doesn't make sense. That means we're playing to the level of our competition, and that's not how you're going to win. You have to play at a high level every night. You cannot take the Detroit Pistons for granted and then come out and play the best ball of your career against the Brooklyn Nets. You just can't do that. You got to play at a high level every night.
Yeah, this is very factual, man. For me, a big problem with us is Vujovic. I think he's not tough enough in a lot of ways, Emmanuel. He's down there, but he gets taken advantage of a lot. And a lot of teams just eat down there. And no disrespect to Andre Drummond, but Andre Drummond, he can give you some meat and be a big body down there, but he's a little aged, moves really slow. It's kind of easy to drive right past him, move right around him. And it's kind of the same with Vujovic because he's not strong enough. He's skilled, but he lacks that kind of physicality. And so it's like you try to get Andre Drummond to balance that out. But the thing is, Andre Drummond ain't moving quick enough. not for these young kids that's on the court that's just running circles around them. We miss Lonzo Ball big time. And then, Anthony just stated, I'm very disappointed in the Bulls. It seems like chemistry is a big part of it. And I agree, Anthony. Something's going on between definitely Levine and DeRozan. I think in a way they might be battling on whose team it is, and they need to really get that sorted out. And you also stated that signing Levine was the worst thing to do. Yep, it was very interesting because in a way, right, Jamar, we kind of felt in the offseason we had to sign Levine because if we watch him go to another team, Emmanuel, and they winning and on a serious streak to be like this great team, we'd be like, dang, we wish we would have had Levine. And so the best thing was we gotta kind of sign him because he is talented. He puts up 48 points like he did the other night against a really good team, and then come put up 15 points against the Magic. It's like,
all right, what are you doing, man? Pick a lane.
right. And so that consistency definitely is a very interesting thing. And so hopefully the Bulls, y'all can get it together. We are hoping that the Bulls can get better chemistry and become a better team as a team progress throughout the rest of the season. All right, y'all. Let's now get into our NFL weekend wild card picks. And so, Jamar, we'll begin with you. Emmanuel, you'll follow up. And for those that are watching, if you guys can give us your picks as well. And just to address the comments, Jonathan Abernathy stated, it goes to show you chemistry means everything on a team. The Bulls, Hawks, Lakers, T-Wolves, they all have great players with horrible chemistry, hence bad losing records. Rhonda LaGoy stated, you're right, chemistry is what all teams need to make it mostly over anything. And then Jonathan stated, a lot of these teams are picking up players who only have 1 or 2 good seasons in their careers, and they just are flukes overall.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking a lot more hoop shots as we go forward because the NFL is in the playoffs now. And so, Jamar, bro, let's get these wild card weekend picks out the way. And so, Jamar, you'll go first, and man, you follow up, and I'll follow up. And then you guys that are on with us, please give us your picks as well. And so, Jamar, the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers today, bro. It's 3:30 Central Time on Fox. Who you got for this one?
Is this a real question? Hey, man, Gino, you had a great year. They wrote you off. You didn't write back, and you showed the NFL that you can play in this league and you're gonna get your money. But it ain't gonna be because of this game. You gonna take that L. Niners coming in.
Buck stops today, huh?
Yeah, it's a wrap. And like I said, nobody thought they would be here before the season started. Nobody at all. But they got their top 5 pick and in the playoffs. So there you go. But yeah, Niners are smacking them today.
Right. Yep. Emmanuel, your thoughts? Who you got for this one?
I agree, man. 49ers, they're gonna take it. I don't really see the Seahawks. I don't think they're gonna get mud trucked, but it's gonna be 49ers overall. It's taking that dub.
Right. Eric Webb somehow got ADHD and went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys.
Lord.
So he stated Tampa Bay 27, Cowboys 17. I believe Eric Webb is a big Tom Brady fan, and so he believes that the Patriots are the Buccaneers are gonna win a Super Bowl because Tom Brady's the quarterback. On the other hand, Jonathan Abernathy stated San Francisco, and I'm with y'all. I can't pick Seattle. I'm gonna go with San Francisco. We'll see though. It's a division game, right? So y'all sometimes surprises happen, but we'll see. Let me ask you this, Jamar. If Geno Smith were to pull off this upset today, would this be like the best moment of his career?
Absolutely. I mean, he hasn't had too many moments in his career. So this would be the best moment of his career.
It would be a fantastic moment if it occurs. Yes. All right, y'all. The Los Angeles Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars, 7:15 p.m. Central Standard Time on NBC. Jamar, who you got?
This game is interesting, and shout out to the dummy head coach Brandon Staley for playing his starters last week, and as a result, Mike Williams is not playing a good job. Most meaningless game ever. I think Jacksonville wins this game, and I know Chargers on paper is more talented by far, but I think Jacksonville is a better coach team. I think Jacksonville is going to play hard, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to show why he was the #1 draft pick. I got Jacksonville winning this game.
Emmanuel, who you got for this one?
I got the I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Like, only because it's Jacksonville. Like, the Jaguars have been through the ring or something. It feels the past 20 years. It feels like. I think the Chargers are gonna. I mean, every time Jacksonville make it to the playoff, I feel like we're surprised. So I think it's gonna be Chargers. I think they're gonna take it.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Anthony Walsh comment stated Niners all day. Geno is going to be running for his life from Bosa. Jonathan stated Jaguars 32-29. Anthony, Jags in a close one. I got the Chargers. I think the Chargers are the better team. After watching Jacksonville, my biggest concern with them is they're not as good offensively as I thought they were. They had a really tough time against Tennessee last week, and LA has a really solid defense. And I think defense travels around this time of year. Plus, you got a bright star in Justin Herbert, who somehow Jamar was viewed as a Hall of Famer before he got you.
But the next Dan Marino.
Right. But this is a big opportunity for him, right, Jamar? To really get eyes on him, to make a name for himself. And so I'm going to go with the LA Chargers. I think they are the better team. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. All right, Jamar, tomorrow, bro, the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. It doesn't look like Tua's playing, right?
He's out.
So, I mean, can we all be unanimous on this one? Because it would take a miracle. It would take a full-blown miracle for Miami to come up to Buffalo in that weather with a third-string quarterback who put up 6 points last week, 9 points to win the game, 3 field goals.
Yeah.
Against, who did they beat? The Patriots?
The Jets.
The Jets. The Jets, Jets. And so I think we all might be unanimous on this one, picking the Buffalo.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Yeah. All right. The New York Giants at the Minnesota Vikings, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Who you got for this one, bro?
Hey, man, I've been on record like every week stating that the Vikings are the worst 11-win team, the worst 12-win team, the worst 13-win team in NFL history, and I stand by that. These two teams played not too long ago, and it took a 61-yard field goal from the Vikings to beat them. Daniel Jones has played like the better quarterback. I believe, what's his name? Brian Daboll's a better coach than O'Connell, whatever his name is. I'm taking the Giants. The Giants are going to come in and beat empty calories Kirk Cousins himself.
Oh, yeah. Emmanuel, who you got?
I'm gonna go with, just because, not based on anything other than this. I'm going with the Giants only because the Vikings are on division. So
I respect it.
Gotta go against anyone who is one of our rivals. So anytime they get, it's like my favorite 2 NFL teams are the Bears and whoever beats the Packers. That's how my leaders lie. Same thing with the Vikings.
That's dope.
We're gonna play them. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. Jamar,
I know you are.
I've been picking the Vikings. I always thought they've been a good team. This year, they just happen to win a lot of close games, Emmanuel, that they should have lost. In the past couple of years, they lost a lot of games that they should have won. But I like the nucleus. I like Jefferson. I like Thielen. I like Dalvin Cook. They're in Minnesota. I think that makes a difference. I do think the Giants put up a close fight, and it's a really tough game. But I'm going to go with the Vikings to at least make the second round this year. I think that's their ceiling. The second round is their ceiling, the Vikings. So I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one. On the other hand, the comments state Jonathan Abernathy stated 45-17. Anthony Walsh stated Mafia blowout. And then Eric Webb, Jamar stated Buffalo 42, Miami nothing. Ooh. So yeah. I'm kind of, very possible. Jonathan Abernathy stated Giants 31-17. The Vikings are going to squeak it out, Anthony Walsh. And so, yes, those are the comments for those games. Next, Jamar, Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals, and Lamar Jackson is out as well. And Tyler Huntley is starting. Is anybody going with the Ravens? Right. Voila. Right. Is anybody on here going with the Ravens? It will take a miracle. This will be like the big talk of the weekend, Emmanuel. If Tyler Huntley go in there and he win this game, he's gonna be a celebrity in Baltimore. Like, this is a big opportunity for him to do something like it.
That's if he plays. He might not even play. It might be Anthony Brown.
So he's hurt too now.
Yeah, he's questionable. Just keep it moving, man.
Yeah, all these hurt quarterbacks. Jeez. Takes away from the spark of the playoffs. Like, geez. All right, Jonathan Abernathy stated Bengals 38-17. Anthony Walsh, Bengals. Eric Webb, Bengals 35, Ravens 3. Yeah. And then lastly, y'all, Monday night, Eric Webb, you've already given us your prediction. You got Tampa Bay 27, Dallas 17. Jamar, Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who you got for this one?
This by far, to me, is outside of the Chargers, Jags is the most intriguing game of the first round.
Right.
I'm gonna do something I haven't really done this year. I'm rolling with the Bucks. I think the Bucks sneak them. I mean, just for a couple of reasons. I mean, Cowboys defense hasn't been that defense in a while. Matter of fact, they gave up 27 points a game in the last 5 games. Dak Prescott, I think, is tied for the league leading in interceptions, and he missed 5 games this year. The offense is not consistent, and then you telling me I have to go in the playoffs and probably in a close game, and I got to believe in Mike McCarthy to actually do something right in crunch time? Man, get out of here. I'm taking the Bucks. And the Bucks at home.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the Bucks are gonna get away with this win, man. But I don't see him going too much further after this. Only because, I think the Bucks gonna win because I think Tom wants it more because he gave up his merits for this, so he ain't about to go out.
No, he can't go out empty-handed.
Right.
Not like that.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Jonathan Abernathy stated Tampa Bay 24-21. Anthony, we want to know who you got for this one. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. In this one, no, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys in this one. I think the Cowboys are the better team. The Bucks just came out as a mistake. I did not mean to say the Bucks at all. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys in this. I think they're a better overall team. Now, I do think, Jamar, that the Bucks with Tom Brady gonna fight. It's gonna be close. Come down to the final drive possibly. But I think the Cowboys sneak, and I think will probably be the best game of this weekend. So I think this is gonna be a classic Tom Brady, because when he's in the playoffs, he's a different man. He's a different man in the playoffs. So he's not finna just walk away like, oh yeah, we got blue. Not Tom Brady. And so I can see y'all points. I can see all of it. Trust me, I can. But I'm gonna go with the Cowboys in this one. On the other hand, Jonathan Abernathy stated Dak is trash, so is Zeke. And then Anthony Walsh stated, I love seeing the Cowboys lose, but I'm picking them just to go against Tampa, Tom. And so,
hey, real quick, if Eric Webb is watching, if you can give me the Jags Chargers pick and the Giants Vikings pick, I can post your picks as well. I got everybody else's.
He's like a human computer, man. You don't just put it all down. Yeah. And so, yes, world, that concludes our sports conversation this morning. The last question we want to ask for you, Emmanuel, as we head into the weekend and we get into our final thoughts and shout outs is, do you think the world today needs to laugh a little bit more? And what advice would you give the world that people out there could use in order to smile a little more?
Oh yeah, you can never have too much laughter in your life, man. Like I'm a big believer of positive energy and finding the funny in everything. So yeah, you could always use more laughter. And I think the best way to laugh more is to not take things so serious. We're in a big cancel culture era right now where people are afraid to make jokes, people are afraid to say things because they don't want to be canceled, they don't want to be taken offensively. I just, as a whole, y'all just need to just to relax a little bit and just learn to laugh at
Right.
yourself more than anything.
Yeah, for sure, for absolute sure. And yeah, that's what we do in the EMSTP. We have fun. I mean, we live life, you know. Um, Folks, you know, they ain't gotta watch our podcast if we are saying bad things. We try our best to be welcoming to everyone, bring other folks in, different environments, different backgrounds, and that's what all kind of brings the podcast together. And so definitely appreciate you coming on. And it's
Uh,
been a blast. We have cracked up this morning for sure. And so yes, we definitely appreciate you coming on. And so as our guest, Emmanuel, you will give the last word. But Jamar, as we head into the weekend, any final thoughts to shout us as we head into the weekend?
Two, one is definitely thank you, Emmanuel, for joining us this morning. You're welcome anytime. Appreciate the laughs, and you know everything that you have said, especially you know your story, how you wanted to get into this. So definitely appreciate you there for sure. And second, sports related. So yesterday the NBA set an attendance record, 68,000 at the Alamo Dome. Yesterday, historic event in San Antonio when they played the Warriors. Even though Spurs are trash, but nevertheless, the fact that 68,000 people to see an NBA game in that historic place, I mean, that's just phenomenal within itself. So.
Just want to say, everyone, thank you for all your comments this morning. Eric, Jonathan, Anthony, various others, Brenda. We appreciate you all. We wanted to make sure this morning, Emmanuel, that we laugh because you were a comedian. And so a lot of the stuff that you see was kind of comedy based. Doesn't mean it'll be the same way next week, but it was for this weekend. And so we definitely appreciate you coming on. I ask the world to laugh a little bit more, to loosen up, and to put God first in all things that you do. We appreciate you all coming on with us this morning. Be safe out there, move smart, and try to help someone, bring someone along, and show them some love. And so, yes, Manuel, any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
I just want to thank you guys for having me, man. I had a blast. I'd love to come back anytime you guys want. And yeah, it was fun, man. I really enjoyed chopping it up with you guys.
Appreciate you.
As stated, in the future, we will have podcast month. And so we will have you back on in the future. So we truly appreciate you rocking with us this morning.
Oh, for sure, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, well, we thank you all for tuning in with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. May each of you have a great weekend and peace.
Peace and love, everybody.